and this all goes in with the sovereign citizen conspiracy theorists, and they have like this really great story where they're like, when your mother gives birth to you, you are birthed into the world like a ship, and you are welcomed in by a doctor at the dock, by the doctor. And like there's this whole like story where they play all these weird word games, and it's like you can look up the etymology of these words and it's like, no, it's total horseshit. The word doc in doctor comes from like, I think it's docere, which is Latin for like caring or something, and then doc comes from like some like, you know, like other German word. You can give birth to things metaphorically. Facebook is the brainchild of Mark Zuckerberg. He wasn't there on the stirrups. Like, oh, Facebook's coming out. Like it's metaphorical, right? So but people they try to like turn it into this whole literal story, and they use this to say like it's not civil or criminal law that you're dealing with, it's the third jurisdiction, basically international maritime law. And there's like a little bit of truth to like all this stuff, right? Like the traffic courts, it's not civil or criminal. They're like these like fake administrative courts that they come up with in a lot of places. Sometimes they actually have criminal courts. So there's like these little slivers of truth. So going back to the thing with the birth certificate, what they're saying is like, oh, well, this is proof that you're a slave, and like that's your slave papers. So the government says we're going to take all these birth certificates and give them to the Federal Reserve, and that's why the Federal Reserve gets to print money. The sliver of truth to that is that any bank lends to somebody else based on their ability to generate revenue, right? So if you're a business and you go to a bank, they're going to say, well, how much money are you making? And if you say, I make $1 million a year, they're going to say, okay, we'll give you a $10 million loan, right? Well, you can pay it back with interest and payments. The government does the same thing. They go to a private bank, which is the Federal Reserve. And like, yes, there's a whole massive conspiracy theory, which is very true about how this bank was created and everything else, and the money's worthless. But they go to the Federal Reserve and they're like, lend us some money. And they're like, okay, how much money can we lend you? Well, how much money can you repay? That all depends on the government's revenue, which is how much they bring in taxes, right? Which is based on how many people they have in their system, how many social securities they have, how many taxpayers they have, and all this other stuff. Where that argument falls apart is, and if you're ever charged with a victimless crime, like a traffic crime, that they can't charge you because you've redeemed your birth certificate and you're no longer, you know, one of their slaves. That's never happened. There has never been a single case, because here's the flip side of that, right? Imagine like you and I have a contract, right? And like the contract is violated, so we go to court, and I'm going to sue her because she broke our contract. And the court's like, well, let's see the contract. And we're both like, well, we don't want to show you the contract. The court's going to be like, well, if I can't see the